That's a fact. Another thing I want to mention that keep coming up. Let's talk about Dr. Malachi York for a second, because that came up in my mind this week. Been seeing it online. What I don't understand about Dr. Malachi York is why was he so surprised at how evil this white man is. In some of his teachings, he talks about, the white man being the devil. He talks about the Tamahu. He talks about the Yaqub story. In some of his information, he speaks highly of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I've read a lot of Dr. York's information personally. I don't understand. When I listen to the tapes of him in jail, him incarcerated, I don't understand why he's so surprised at how evil the white man is, that it was closed court, that they had it on Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday, that he was potentially tortured, forced into a plea. I'm shocked that he's so surprised, and what bothers me is that he stopped teaching his people when he got into the UFO and the extraterrestrial information. He stopped teaching his people on how evil the goddamn white man was and how evil the system of white supremacy was. He let off of that. When he was in New York, Answer Allah, he knew what time it was. It was a stronger vibe and energy of black nationalism. When he got off on the UFO Native American thing, white people started getting in a little bit. White Nubians. Nubians of different ethnicities and nationalities started to come in. No disrespect to the Nubians, but I'm just showing you why we have to stay focused on who our enemy is. We cannot get so deep. We cannot get so spiritual, so spiritually high, that we forget who our enemy is. We can't get so deep off into gardening. We can't get so deep off into land. We can't get so deep off into spirituality. We can't get so deep off into economics. We can't get so deep off into anything that for 1 second would make us forget who our enemy is. Because if we do, that will be the biggest mistake that we will have made of any mistakes that we made. So with the Dr. York thing, if we can learn anything from that our people must continue to know that the white man is the devil and that the institutions of white supremacy, all of them are evil. That's my message to the Nubians. All the institutions of white supremacy are evil. Dr. Malachi York said in the Family Guide book, he was telling people that they could join the FBI and join the military and join to be among, white people, their institutions. And he tried to make himself look that he was anti the white man's institutions, maybe because he didn't want to look like a terrorist or whatever. He kind of cleaned up his teachings a little bit, if you ask me, and made them more palatable. But that did not stop him becoming a reverend of the Holy Church of Christ, and trying to push himself as an ordained minister. That didn't save him from the white man hating him for being a black God incarnated. They hated him for that. He could not escape that by being a Christian, looking like a Christian, putting on cowboy boots, looking Native American. Look what they did to the Native Americans. Claiming you're Native American or Moorish sovereignty is not going to get this crack off your ass. You saw the cracker down, the Moor down there in Ferguson standing in front of the police. It didn't mean a goddamn thing. They don't care about you and your nationality. Yes, you can care about you and your nationality by having a nation and having security with your nation against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Yeah, you can care about your nationality and have your nation and your nationality, but to expect the white man to do it, it's not going to happen. So you can't claim no native or indigenous rights or sovereign or loyal title to the land. You can't claim any of that because the white man don't give a goddamn, because he ran in on Native Americans. He stole it from them. So you think now you're going to be them and claim it? Yes, we were the original Native Americans and all this land of ours, and we were the Moors and this land is ours. Of course. But it don't mean a goddamn thing if you won't spend all of your energy trying to secure it all the days of your life and you're not willing to destroy the enemy that's trying to take it away from you, that's trying to take down your leaders, take down your people, take your children, if you're not willing to fight and destroy that enemy and give your life in that battle if necessary, if you're not willing to take the blood and cause bloodshed of that enemy if necessary, then it's not an enforcing or backing the values or principles of what you stand on. It's nothing that's going to suspend or hold into place your culture, your customs, your codes, your ideas, your traditions, your rituals, your religions, your way of life. There's nothing that will hold that into place if you're not willing to fight for it. And you can't become so goddamn deep, so political, so legal minded that you lose focus on who the damn enemy is, and that you're so smart that you accept oppression because you're not at least dumb enough to fight back. So that's the only thing that bothered me with Dr. York, and I think we need to learn from that in movements to come. I've not given up on the freedom of Dr. Malachi York. He can be free. They just let off two individuals that was locked up for 30 years because of DNA evidence. They was let go. The DNA evidence came back, and they had to let these men out of jail. They were found to be innocent for being in there for 30 years. He can get out. Assata Shakur was freed from prison because the followers of the Black Liberation Army was radical enough to say, fuck white supremacy, fuck the institutions of white supremacy, and they just went and simply got her and freed her out of jail and took her over to Cuba. Dr. Malachi York can be free. If people really want to free him and stop believing in white supremacy, believing that the white man is going to have a change of heart, the devil will never change his heart. He's been evil for the last 400 years, and he will continue to be evil. Don't believe in that. Stop giving up on the white man doing something different. He's not. We're going to have to become radical enough to confront the reality of how evil this white man is and stay in that confrontation. And it's going to be warfare. It's going to be war, unavoidable. And that's what we should be preparing for and building for. And you can't escape that because nothing else is going to survive. Your culture, none of that. They're going to tear down your pyramids. They did it in old Egypt, and they tore it down in the new Egypt, in Atlanta, in Tamaray. Both Egypt. Shot the Sphinx off the nose. Greeks take over Egypt. Now the pale Arab is over there like it's his land, practicing racism against black people in Egypt, against melanated people in Egypt. And look what happened in New Egypt, in Georgia. When are we going to learn that we must fight? We must be in battle. We must be in security mode. We should not let down our guards. That's a fact. No UFO is going to come save us. We have to fight as men and stand up for what we believe in. We have to. And we have to learn that. The Nuwaubians have to learn that. And as we totally internalize that, as Nuwaubians internalize that, then they'll free Dr. Malachi York by any means necessary. And I don't say that with any regrets. I'll make that as a clear statement. It's going to take a revolution to free our political prisoners. Jamil Al-Amin, the MOVE members, Mumia. It's going to take a revolution to do that. We're not going to do that lost in fucking space. We're not going to do that focused on the nutritional value inside of a goddamn apple. We're not going to do it. Yes, we need to focus on our health and focus on all areas of our well-beingness, but we're not putting enough emphasis on the fight and on recognizing who our enemy is and staying focused on that, because if we don't, we become enemies of one another. We become enemies of one another. And that's what you see. You got all those black devils that put their energy into bringing down black leaders. All those damn black devils is uneducated and ignorant people who have forgotten and lost focus on who the real enemy is. There's nothing that you could accuse Dr. Malachi York for. No allegation. We know to be the fact about the white man and what he's doing today, what he will do tomorrow, and what he did yesterday Nothing you can accuse Dr. Malachi York, a black leader, a black God in flesh, a black incarnated one, a black Messiah. Nothing you can accuse him for. It's paramount to what this white man is doing. That's a fact. But when we lose focus on who our enemy is, we become black devils to each other. And that's by design. And I lead that on in to say that why we need to put so much energy into when white people kill black people in the community, white police officers shoot down black people, or the institutions of white supremacy shoot black people, and not put the same emphasis on black crime in Chicago. It's no accident. I think that black on black crime in Chicago doesn't need the same emphasis as white cops killing black youth, or the institutions of white supremacy, or black cops under the auspices of the institutions of white supremacy shooting black children down the street needs more focus than black on black crime in Chicago. Why do I say that? Because the reason black people are killing each other in Chicago is because they don't know who the enemy is. The enemy has paraded himself as being a good guy and to be innocent, spotless, holy, pure, to be Chicago's finest. The enemy parades himself as that, so we can't see him. And the time that we need to spend overthrowing and dismantling his regime, we spend that time bickering and fighting over each other, being petty and arguing over territory and money and scraps that come off the table of United States imperialism in the form of police states. We're so busy fighting over that. Jealousy and envy over who got the most scraps and material in our own community and who could sell the most poison to one another that's being brought into the community by the enemy. And we're all working for him because every dealer ends up in jail, but the game still goes on, and the white man continues to make money off the game. So he's a real enemy. But we don't see him. We don't see the longevity of him. We don't see his enduring position. We just see the nigga we want to come up greater than. So we don't know who our enemy is, so we end up killing each other because it's misdirected, misguided frustration, confusion. So when the white man takes the time out to show how evil he is by shooting a black youth down in the street in cold blood, it puts who the real enemy is back in focus. There can be no white love and black peace. Black love will come at the cost of white hatred. You can't love the white man and love the black at the same time. You can't do them both. Black love is the hatred of your oppressor. Black love is the hatred of the white man, whether you want to admit it or not. You go on loving the white man, you allow him to continue to do evil and wickedness to your people. You hate the white man, you'll see black nationalism raise up overnight. You want to end black on black crime? Start black on white hatred. And we'll unify together and take the bullets that we will put in our own heads, and we will put them in the head of some goddamn devil who's been orchestrating, maintaining, capitalizing, and grandizing himself off black death. So yes, when white people shoot down black youth cold-blooded in the streets, it deserves way more attention.